Hello, this is Daryl Justin Black. I'm sharing research on Brigadier General Charles Chuck Yeager. Brigadier General Charles Chuck Yeager is widely regarded as one of the greatest pilots of all time. Noted native West Virginian author and NASA engineer Homer Hickam summed up perfectly the esteem that West Virginians feel for Chuck Yeager. Hickam stated following Yeager's passing, quote, "I'm from West Virginia, and students there hear about him as soon as they're old enough to understand how important he was to aviation and ultimately spaceflight. No West Virginia history class I ever attended got far before Air Force Brigadier General Charles Chuck Yeager was discussed and praised as the Mountain State's favorite son, a pilot of world renown, a war hero, a daredevil, and a man every West Virginia boy and girl should want to emulate," end quote. While Yeager achieved worldwide fame, recognition, and a place in the history books, his life began humbly in rural Lincoln County, West Virginia. Charles Elwood Yeager was born on February 13, 1923, in Myra, West Virginia. He was raised in the town of Hamlin, the county seat of Lincoln County. After graduating from Hamlin High School in June 1941, Yeager joined the United States Army Air Forces and served throughout World War II in the European theater as a fighter pilot. He served through 1947 when the United States Air Force was created as a separate military branch with combat missions during the Korean conflict and Vietnam until he retired as a brigadier general in 1975. The fateful day was October 14, 1947. The location was the Mojave Desert in Southern California near Muroc Air Force Base, since renamed Edwards Air Force Base in 1950. Captain Yeager, at the time, was a test pilot for the United States Air Force. After extensively running the numbers on paper and meticulous planning by the engineers, Captain Yeager was about to attempt to fly faster than sound. The plane that was designed for this mission was the Bell X-1, an experimental rocket plane originally conceived in 1944 and completed in 1945. As Yeager later told A.D. Susdorf in an interview for the Baltimore Sun newspaper the following August, quote, "Painted on its swordfish nose was its real name, the glamorous Glennis. My wife's name. It had been on all my P-51s in Europe," end quote. His rendezvous with history was almost disrupted, however, because of an incident that happened involving his beloved wife. Quote, "2 nights before his historic flight, Yeager and his wife Glennis went on a night ride in the desert. His horse threw him at a gate and he broke a rib." It was quoted in the Daily Telegraph newspaper. After Yeager visited an off-base doctor, he came to the airfield early the day of the historic flight in considerable pain. There was no way Yeager was going to miss his opportunity to break the sound barrier. So he and an engineer named Jack Ridley devised a solution to allow Yeager to close his cockpit canopy, a sawed-off broom handle. The flight began at 10 a.m. with a B-29 bomber ferrying the X-1 and Yeager to a height of 25,000 feet before releasing Yeager and his aircraft for independent flight. Frederick Graham of the New York Times reported that Yeager's, quote, "rocket plane hurtled through space about 25 times faster than the first flight of the Wright brothers and from 100 to 200 miles an hour faster than the speed of a pistol bullet," end quote. In recognition of his feat, Captain Yeager was presented with the Mackay Trophy on June 15, 1948, as well as the oak leaf clusters to his Distinguished Flying Cross. Harold B. Hinton, reporting for the New York Times the following day, testified that, quote, "the Mackay Trophy for the Outstanding Military Aviation Performance of the Year was presented for the first time since 1939, end quote. The West Virginia International Yeager Airport in Charleston, West Virginia, was named in Yeager's honor in 1985. Then Governor Arch Moore sensed an opportunity to capitalize on Yeager's fame to benefit job creation in West Virginia. William K. Stevens of the New York Times reported that, quote, "the night before the ceremony, General Yeager was the guest of honor at a dinner attended by the top executives of some 100 national corporations. Governor Moore used the attraction of General Yeager, more famous than ever because of recent movies and books about him, to make an aggressive pitch for the executives to place new offices or plants in a state chronically afflicted by heavy unemployment," end quote. Even after retiring from military service, Yeager continued to pursue his passion for flying and record setting. When he was awarded the Medal of Freedom from President Ronald Reagan in May of 1985, Yeager, who was then 62 years old, set a world speed record, of 5 hours and 47 minutes when he flew himself into Washington from Los Angeles in a prop jet for the ceremony. Yeager was even pressured to get involved in national politics, but refrained from running for public office because he did not want to lose his independence to follow his interests. The Republican Party tried in vain to recruit him to run against West Virginia's longtime United States Senator, Robert C. Byrd, who at one point was Majority Leader in the U.S. Senate. Yeager was quoted as saying, quote, "Being a U.S. Senator wouldn't enhance me ego-wise, financially, or any other way. I wouldn't be able to fly, I wouldn't be able to hunt, fish with anybody like I normally do." End quote. Then Vice President George H.W. Bush was able to convince Yeager to appear in TV ads and at campaign events during his successful campaign to win the Republican nomination and ultimately the presidency in 1988. According to John Element and Andy DeBallis, reported in the Boston Globe, during a campaign event in Concord, New Hampshire, hosted by the group Gun Owners of New Hampshire, and attended by Bush and 6 other contenders for the Republican nomination, quote, "Yeager got the biggest hand of the night," end quote. Brigadier General Yeager passed away at the age of 97 on December 7th, 2020. President Trump lauded Yeager's legacy in a presidential statement released the following day. President Trump stated, quote, "He was one of the greatest pilots in history, a proud West Virginian, and an American original, who relentlessly pushed the boundaries of human achievement," end quote. Yeager's passing was covered in newspapers around the globe, including the Daily Telegraph of London, UK, the Economic Times, New Delhi, India, and the Canberra Times of Canberra, Australia, among many others. Thank you.